Acoustically treating your room is a really important part of music production, not just for recording, but also for mixing and listening back. If you want to get your room professionally acoustically treated, then you will need potentially thousands and thousands of pounds to do so effectively. However, thinking about what an acoustic panel actually is made me think perhaps I could make my own for a fraction of the price. As it turned out, I managed to make one without spending any money at all, just using things from around the house that were just going to get thrown in the bin. The main thing used to make the acoustic panel is a child's bed, which I just happen to have kicking around. However, assuming that you don't have one kicking around, you can have a look on somewhere like Craigslist or FreeCycle and usually pick them up completely free of charge. So with the bed, you've got the mattress, which is going to be the sound absorption part of the panel. And although it's probably not going to be as good quality as some of the foams that they use in proper acoustic panels, it's definitely going to do a good enough job relative to how much you pay for it. And then, of course, you've got the frame, which is going to hold the panel in place. Now, essentially, those two things together is your acoustic panel. If you're not bothered about aesthetics for the panel itself, then you can leave it at that. However, unless you're wanting essentially what is an upturned bed in your studio, you're going to have to do a little bit of cutting to turn a bed into a rectangular frame for the foam to fit into. So to do that, you're going to make cuts in the wood here, 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 and here. And at this stage, I'd probably advise that you try and find somewhere with a workbench or someone with some tools that aren't rusted. I got a saw, no idea where it actually came from, but as slow as it might have been, it was capable of making a cut in some wood. Of course, if you are a little bit impatient like myself, you might also have some sort of power tool kicking around, so you can give that a try. I've got a jigsaw. Again, I think a workbench might have been some use to the situation, but it got the job done, and I still have all of my fingers intact. So once you've done the cuts, you should have 4 pieces of wood and 1 mattress, as so. You stick the pieces of wood together to create your rectangular frame, and then pop the mattress in place. Essentially, this is your acoustic panel. You can just keep it like this. It will still do the same job. However, if like me, you happen to have some old curtains hidden under the bed, you can dig them out and create a lovely cover for the ugly frame and mattress you've just created. However, if you discover that the curtains that you've found are actually uglier than the frame and mattress themselves, you might want to look at a different option. I mean, personally, I'm not really a fan of a colour that is used for cartoon snot, cartoon sick, the Grinch, and if you remember that Heinz tomato ketchup they made green instead of red? It tasted the same, but, you know. Luckily, there's a very easy solution to this problem. If you jump on Amazon or any other monopolising conglomerate's website, you can look up fabric dye and for £3 to £5 get some dye that will instantly change the colour of your fabric into something more palatable. Thankfully, as you might expect, I had some of this kicking around at home already. You can get stuff that you just stick in the washing machine and put your fabric in there as well, which would be a lot easier. And you need a lot of salt for this as well. Luckily, I had loads of salt because I've got a serious slug problem in my kitchen. Of course, slugs hate salt. It melts them. I don't put the salt on the slugs. Just put a line of it across the door frame to prevent them getting in. So there's an extra tip for you anyway. As I mentioned, make sure you read the instructions carefully. These instructions were very clear, but unfortunately only mentioned to make sure you wear gloves right at the end of the instructions. So I had a bit of an issue with blue hands for about 3 days after I did that. Anyway, so you basically give it a rinse, you give it a wash, you take it out of the washing machine and hang it out to dry for a bit. Again, I think I probably should have used a slightly bigger bucket just to allow the dye to get into all of the fabric without it being crinkled up. I don't know if anyone remembers the global hypercolour tie-dye t-shirts you could get in the 90s. Anyway, in the meantime, you need to find some way to secure the mattress inside the frame. I've just used nails to tack in, nails I had at home, so I didn't have to spend any money on them, but it cost a few pounds for a massive bag of nails anyway. And then just moving on to attaching the cover to the frame. All I've done here is tack the cover to the frame just using nails. And I've wedged one of the slats between the frame and the mattress just to keep the middle part in place so it doesn't flop around as much. Once the cover's tacked on, I've just trimmed off the edges, and there we are. The acoustic panel is ready. Of course, the next question is going to be, does it actually work?